Hi, I'm Kelsa Kinsly, and you should absolutely be supporting Keith Andrew. He is going for it, and it's exactly what one needs to do. Doesn't matter what your issues are, what's going on with you, you just forge ahead. And that's what he's doing.
Welcome to 573. I'm your host, Keith Andrew, the one and only Keith Andrew, and you're watching the KeithAndrewNetWork. I'm here as the talented and beautiful Kelsa Kinsly. I just want to say thank you for being a guest on my talk show.
Well, thank you for having me.
No, the honor's all mine. For people who want to know what my talk show's about, the whole point of my talk show is to show people that even if I have an learning disability, I can still amount to something. And at the same time, I'm able to turn myself into an example for people out there dealing with any types of learning disabilities and disabilities to never give up and prove people wrong. Prove to them that labels do not dictate who you are and who you're going to be. You should prove to them and still amount to something. So hashtag break the labels. So that being said, half hour, 33 minutes of your time. Say anything you want, talk about whatever you want. Freedom of speech, it is uncensored, so freedom of speech, self-expressing. Ask me whatever you want, I have nothing to hide. And the first thing that caught my interest, I'm going to ask you the easy questions first, and we can go to the hard-hitting ones. And actually, yes, the first one I'm going to ask you is, you went to British Columbia, the Institute of Technology. What made you decide to go to that school?
Well, it's kind of the premier place for broadcasting in Vancouver. It's really where, I mean, there is one other school, but it's nowhere near as good. And BCIT is it's just really known for its broadcasting program. Pretty much anybody in Vancouver that is a broadcaster that went to school went to BCIT. To be completely honest, I didn't go there for I wasn't like a full-time student. I was already in the radio world when I took classes at BCIT. So I was only there part-time, and I only did it to sort of give myself credibility because the radio station had already hired me with no experience. So, but BCIT is a very good school.
No, absolutely. How long have you gone there, and what do you recommend to other people?
How long did I go there? I only took one broadcasting or report. Oh no, actually I took two. I'm old, so we're going way back now. I took an investigative reporting class, which was, I think, it might have been 3 or 4 months, something like that. And then I took a general reporting class, which was about the same. And that's about it. That's all I took.
All right. Now, the other question I saw about really interests me, just do a quick rundown. I did like a video promoting this, is that you are a TV host, a TV reporter, you are a former radio personality, actress, and you worked for iHeart Media and Fox News. So there's a whole list, so we will get to that in due time. So the first one I was going to ask you is, who influenced you to become a TV host, and what can you tell us about breaking into that type of industry?
Without question, the number one influence, the person who made me decide to do what I wanted to do, was Johnny Carson. For the young kids, they probably don't even know who he is. But when I was little, and I mean little, I grew up in a teeny town outside of Vancouver. I mean, it was not 200 people. We had no plumbing. We had no paved roads. We had no school. I mean, we had a little red schoolhouse, literally, where it was grades 1 through 3 in the same classroom, 4 through 6 in the same classroom. Kindergarten, we had to take a bus like miles and miles. Oh, we call kindergarten, see, I'm from Canada. So what do you guys call kindergarten before grade 1? Do you still call it kindergarten? Or does that even exist down here?
I think it's like preschool.
Okay. So I should also preface everything from here on in that I am from Canada, and we do have some words that don't work down here. I've pretty much discovered most of them, but sometimes I say things and people are like, what is she talking about? So kindergarten is before grade 1, and we had to get on a bus to go to this whole other city for that. Then 1 through 3, then 4 through 6, and then grade 7, we had to go to a whole other town. And then for grade 8, a whole other town. And I'm telling you all of this because we had one TV station. And we got it from downtown Vancouver, which was, I don't even know how many miles away. Anmore is this little community in the middle of the mountains that was originally there for part of the gold rush. A couple of people settled in there. And so we couldn't access any of the TV stations except for one. And it came from Vancouver. And lucky for me, it was the station in Canada that carried Johnny Carson. And so at nighttime, at 11:35, I would sneak out of bed every night. My parents never knew. I don't even know if they know now. And I would sneak out of bed and I would sit in front of the TV and have it really, really low so no one would hear. And of course, I'm looking up at the TV and I would watch Johnny Carson every single night, probably from the time I was 2, 3, 4, maybe, all the way up until he went off the air. I was and also to understand, because I was looking up at him, he was God, to me. And also it was my little secret. Nobody knew, So it was like this thing I had with him. And lucky for me, he is the king of late night. He's the guy. I mean, he is without doubt the best at what he did. I mean, he was genius at really what he did. And I can still vividly remember just his expressions and just certain things he said and certain people on the show. I have it's imprinted. But anyway, he is my main influence. And because of him and his humor and everything, I just thought he was just it. And I still do.
No, absolutely. Now, what were some of your favorite moments about working in the entertainment business? We're just staying focused on your TV hosting as of right now.
On TV? Okay. Let me see. I did, well, the first show I ever did was in Vancouver on the station that I just told you about. But by this time, my parents we'd moved out of this little town where we had no running water, and we moved into closer into Vancouver. And I always wanted to act and all that. So it's a long story, but I got in a car accident and all this, and finally I got into broadcasting, and there was a show that was run on the station I told you about called The Performers. And it was in one time, going so back now, but it was a big show for the time. And it wasn't only in Canada. It ran in like 40 other countries or something. And they had, they interviewed performers. And so I used to see that show too, because that was the one station that we got. And so I had, once I got into radio in Vancouver, I had contacted the performers because people were starting to know who I was. I mean, I was on the radio, so I asked them, how they hired people to do the TV, because I didn't understand television really at that point. And so the guy knew who I was because he listened to the radio station. So I met him for lunch. But I met him for lunch, and he said, what I'll do is, because you are in broadcasting, why don't we do like this fake interview? I just want to see how you do. And he said, I want you to come up with 30 questions to ask me. And, just like legitimate questions, like do some research, find out where I'm from and that type of thing. And so we met a couple of weeks later for lunch. And during the lunch, I asked him the questions because I didn't know I was supposed to be like, okay, now do the interview. I really didn't. Don't forget, I hadn't taken any classes or anything at this point. So during the lunch, I just asked him all of the questions that I had written. And so when we finished lunch, he said, okay, so now let's get to the questions. And I was like, well, I've already asked them all. And he said, what do you mean? I said, this whole lunch I had been, conversing with you. I've already got all the answers to every question that I had. And he was blown away. So that was cool because that was the first ever TV thing I'd ever done. And so from there, I started to do news and stuff like that. But I also did a show in Halifax. It was awesome. It was a TV morning show. And the TV shows in Canada are a little more zany than the ones down here. Like these ones are really news programs. But in Canada, it's a little bit more like the European, the UK. Their morning shows are really, they're just crazy. They're more wacky and zany. And Canada's sort of a mix of the two. So that show was amazing because I could do the craziest of crazy and do anything I wanted. I mean, I was literally jumping out of airplanes and shooting guns and like really nutty. And then I would also say the Weather Channel was a lot of fun as well. The Weather Channel was tons of fun because I wasn't in studio at the Weather Channel. I was out and about. I had a show called The Road Crew. So I was literally in. Well, how did that go? I was in a different state every week and a different city in that state every day.
No, that's pretty
So
cool.
There's a lot of.
Not to interrupt.
There's a lot of really cool. I'm sorry?
I didn't mean to interrupt.
Oh, no, that's okay. No, the connection's not great right now. So you froze there for a second. But anyway, the Weather Channel, there's tons of places that we went to, and I'm a huge animal fanatic, so weather and animals go hand in hand. So we got to do a lot of animal stuff, which was really cool for me.
No, absolutely. And I saw on your LinkedIn that we had a mutual connection where you could introduce me to people that you knew from the Weather Channel. But we can talk about that off the air.
Oh, sure, yeah.
But the next question I was going to ask you, as a TV reporter, because you were a TV host, finishing up on the host, going into the reporter,
speaking of animals, I have to get I'm sorry to interrupt you, but I have to get my cat in here. There, that's all. Thank you. That's beauty. Go ahead.
Hey, my sister used to have a cat like that.
Oh, really? A big, black, fluffy one?
Her name was She-Rock.
Long
story about that. We got her. She went into the main bathroom. She fell into the wall. And we didn't name her at that point. My dad's like, it's a brand new house. I'm not tearing it apart over a freaking cat. So we made one hole in the wall. Luckily, my brother found out where she was. She came out. We decided to name her She-Rock.
Oh, thank God she got out. You had me worried there for a minute. I was very worried.
So going back on the question is, do you like being a TV host or do you like being a TV reporter? And what is the difference?
A host is more like you're sitting. I like both. I'm moving more into investigative stuff, so that would be more of a reporter. But reporter is you're digging, you're getting the story, you're trying to research, you're trying to get the information, and you're after it. You're out there and you're jumping a fence, and and then you're reporting on the story. A host is more like sitting in the studio and throwing to the reporter or just reading off the prompter. A host is a little more personality based,
so like me,
and more entertainment. I'm sorry?
So pretty much like me.
Yes, you're a host. Absolutely. Yes. You would be a host, not a reporter. Yes. Mm-hmm.
Now, the next question I was going to ask you is about you were a radio personality. How many years have you been on the radio?
I don't know that I should admit to how many years I've been on the radio. I will say that it started with a 9 when I began. 1990 something or early 90s, and I'm still a broadcaster. I'm still an actor. I'm just as I said, moving into the investigative side, but I've been doing both for a very long time.
Well, if it makes you feel better, I'm 31.
That makes me feel worse. Thank you.
I try. So the next question I was going to ask you, with everything you accomplish, from being a TV host, TV reporter, and working on your radio personality, now we're going to get to the actor point. But before we talk more about you being an actor, with everything you've accomplished, have you ever worked, besides me apparently because you're doing my interview, have you ever worked with people with disabilities? And are you willing to work with people with disabilities? Like I said, you're working with me, so apparently you are willing to work with people with disabilities.
I would love to. I love what you're doing. I think it's fantastic. I always love it. I see casting notices for, they want people who actually, instead of putting an actor in a wheelchair or whatever. I know that's not a learning disability, but you know what I'm saying? Any kind of a handicap. Why not use? There are actors who have those, issues. So I love it when they do that. I see notices for that all the time. This role is somebody, with this role is an amputee. So we would like to cast an actual amputee. I love that. And learning disabilities, yeah, of course. Why wouldn't I? I think it's absolutely. I would love to. It's great. I love what you're doing. I think it's fantastic. I watched your video. And by the way, you said you suck at it. You don't.
When did I say that?
You said in your intro on your website, you said, I can't remember what you were talking, and you you were saying 5 or 10 minutes or something like that. 10 minutes or sometimes 5. I don't know what you were saying. And then you go, obviously I suck at this. You said that. You know. You should remove that.
Well, I like to be real, not phony.
Well, funny's good too. Funny's okay.
No, absolutely.
Actually, funny gets you a long way. Funny is, it's a good thing. And something I've learned, self-deprecation goes a long way as well. It's a way to get out of anything. Oh, it's me. I'm just an idiot. It really does get you out of it.
Absolutely. Now, the next question I was going to ask you is, how many years have you been an actress, and who were some of your favorite people that you ever worked with?
I started acting before I went into broadcasting, actually. I actually went into broadcasting as a way to supplement my income because I was an actor. So I was a waitress like every other actor. This is all in Canada. And somebody told me that the radio station hired hostesses. I can't remember what they paid, but back then it was really good. I think it was like $15 an hour, which back then was like really good. And so I started to hostess, and that just means like you're out when the DJ or whoever is out on remote. You're just there like facilitating, helping, talk to the people and stuff like that. So that's how I got into it, and so that's why I got into it, was to supplement my acting. What was my most favorable acting moment? Was that the next question?
Yeah, I don't even remember. Okay, so let me rephrase that question to a same extent. So, who got you into it? Who were some of your favorite people that you ever worked with? And what were some of your favorite acting moments?
Okay, so how did I get into acting? Okay, so I had been in a bad car accident, and I had always wanted to do entertainment business, whether it was TV, radio, or acting or whatever. And I got in a bad car accident, and I was laid up for 6 months. I was stuck in the house. I couldn't do anything. I couldn't walk and do anything. And so I sort of laying there going, oh my God, this sucks. What am I going to do with my life? And so that's when I decided to actually do something about it. And I literally at that point, way back in the day, grabbed a phone book and just started to, a phone book, the Yellow Pages actually, and started flicking through it, like, how does one become an actor? I had no idea. And this is in Vancouver, and the boom hadn't hit yet. The boom in Vancouver hit after, I forget what year it was, but I'm going to, again, date myself and say it was probably the late 80s when MacGyver came to Vancouver. The original MacGyver came to Vancouver, and that sort of put Vancouver on the map a little bit. And then all these other series started coming up, 21 Jump Street, Street Justice, Outer Limits, Poltergeist, all these shows started coming up, and they started building studios. And so it was just starting at that point. And so I was flicking through, and I found under T, I found talent agent. There was one in Vancouver, one talent agent. Right now, up in Vancouver, there's probably 500. Okay, so I'm talking like this was way before the boom. And so I literally called her, and I said, how do I become an actor? What do I do? And she was really nice. And she said, you should take classes and this and that, and do extra work and standing work and just learn, learn. And so that's what I did. So that's literally how I got in. I started to do extra work. I did stand-in work. I took classes, and I got an agent, her. And I just started getting work. And so that's how I got into it. I mean, I worked at it. I auditioned for stuff I should never have been auditioning for, like musicals. I can't sing. I really just went out there. And one of my most favorite moments, there's hundreds, but I have to say working with Anthony Hopkins was pretty amazing. He was like the most humble, the most gentlemanly, the most sincere. He actually introduced himself like I wouldn't know who he was. He said, welcomed me to the set and said, welcome, I'm Tony. And I said, I know who you are. Who doesn't know who Anthony Hopkins is, So that was pretty cool. He was really, really amazing. And it was nice to see somebody of such stature to be so humble.
Now, the next question I was going to ask you on the subject, because I've been talking to my brother and my father about, I work in retail, and I just is not what I want to do for the rest of my life. And I've been saying maybe I've been thinking about doing like backstage, or I don't know if you heard of backstage. Backstage
The magazine, the newspaper.
Kind of, but it's like acting.
Yes.
But there's like backstage and New York casting and
Yes.
SAGs, and they're like, why do that? You have to stand around for a whole shitload of hours, and they're not probably may or may not pick you. Number one, and number two, I am horrible at reading and writing. So reading a script, that may be hard for me. But let me ask you, say if you didn't read and write, or what's your advice for people out there who can't read or read at a 5th grade level? Do you think that's a big slap in the face saying try something else, or do you think they would be willing to work around it?
I think you should do what you want to do, and I don't think you should listen to other people. Because if I listened to other people, I wouldn't have done half of the stuff I've done. In fact, I find that when everyone's telling me not to do something, I pretty much know I should do it. Because it's just the way it's worked out. If I know in my gut, and anyone can tell me whatever they want. If I know, they can tell. I'll listen to them and I'll consider it, but I'm going to do what I'm going to do. And personally, okay, a couple of things you said. When I might just stand around and they might not pick me. Well, if you sit at home, they're not going to pick you.
Yeah.
So you're better off to take a might than it's not going to happen, right? So mites are okay because that means it's possible, all right? So, yes, you should go. And I'll tell you something else. Because you have a learning disability, it makes you unique. And in this business, unique is what gets you work. So you use what you have. That is the golden rule. So I would tell if there was like some young little blonde bimbo with big boobs and big blonde hair, I would tell her, use that. Don't try to downplay it. Use it. My friend up in Vancouver is getting older. Unfortunately, that's what happened. She's like 70-something now, and she's been dyeing her hair and trying to, look young like the rest of us. And one day she decided, you know what, this is ridiculous. I'm not getting work because she's not as young as she's trying to be. So we sort of talked, and she decided, why not embrace the fact that I'm old, or older, getting old? She said, screw it. She stopped dyeing her hair, let it go gray, stopped wearing makeup, downplayed her looks, started working like crazy as the old lady, or older lady, because she's not old, she's only 70, but she still doesn't look 70, but she's now the crazy neighbor, and she's getting all of this work. So it's like, you have to embrace what you have, because here's the thing, you can't change it anyway, right? You can't change that you have a learning disability. Can you?
No.
Can you change that? No. So embrace it, sell it. If I were you, and I'm not, but if I were you, I would, and you really want to act or do whatever it is that you want to do, I would just start doing it, and I would be I can guarantee you this. Yeah, okay, so is the script and all that going to be an issue? Yeah, but isn't it always an issue for you? Isn't reading or all of that always an issue anyway?
Yeah.
So this is not going to be any different then. So you're used to that. So there, that's that. And then I would get an agent. I would take some classes first, and then I would get an agent, and the first thing I would tell that agent is, I have a learning disability. Because that makes you unique, and they're going to want to see you. It's like I was saying earlier, if I'm an actor in a wheelchair, I'm going to tell them right away, I'm handicapped. I'm in a wheelchair. Even if they're just talking, they don't see. Because uniqueness, I'm telling you, is what will get you work. If you're run of the mill like everybody else, there's hundreds of them. It's going to be tough to get a gig. So embrace it and go for it. That's what I would say.
No, absolutely. And that's the reason I did the talk show. It's because, my school labeled me mentally disturbed, mentally disconnected, retarded. I read and learn at a fifth grade level. I was never able to go to college. So, and I got to comm season with my family. My brother before me said, I don't know what to do with my life, blah, blah, this, blah, blah, that. Said, go talk to your brother, go talk to your sister, they know people. I said, what about me? One, you're not educated, you're not qualified, you don't shut up, you piss people off, you get fired from work, you're
Describing me right now.
Huh?
You're describing me. You're describing me. Everything you just said is me. So what?
And so I said, screw it. I'm going to show you that even if I'm learning disability, I can still mount something. And this June will be officially 6 years that I've been doing my talk show on my own, by myself, promoting myself, and I'm very thankful for the people who I met. There are some people I could unmeet.
Yes.
But even I said to certain people, you're either got to be supportive of me, or you got to go make friends with the door, and I never ever want to see you ever again. And I mean that. I don't care if you're a family member or a friend. If you're happy for me, great. I want you in my life. If not, screw off. And I would be more than happy to find someone else to replace you with.
Good for you. Keep doing what you're doing. Listen to yourself, honestly. I love what you're doing. All of that stuff you just said is exactly what will get you work. Like, everything you just said is the type of person that will get somewhere. The lady I was just telling you about, the lady that embraced her aging, she is an acting coach in Vancouver, quite successful, actually. And she said to me once, and it's you. She said, you will do what other people won't do. You will be successful, whatever that means. You will be, because other people won't do the crap that you have to go through. And it's crap. Like, you're going to have to fight people all the time, because you're going to come across a bunch of idiots who are like, well, you can't read. What are you talking about? You are. You're just going to, and you just go, thank you. Bye. Next. Talk to the next person. Just don't even worry about those people. Oh my God, they're everywhere. So it doesn't matter. It just doesn't matter.
No, I agree with you. Now, we're going to take a quick commercial break. And what's the last 6 minutes left? I'm going to pass the show over to you after we ask our last hidden subject. And then, pretty much after the commercial break, I'm going to ask you about social media. Then I'm going to pass the show over to you. You can ask me anything you like.
Okay.
Vanessa Lina. Asian Lalo. I'm Cynthia Vassine. I'm Sonia Fisher. This is Shane Smith. My name is Alexandra Bowie. My name is Amelia Clover. Hi, I'm Amy Linden. Hi, I'm Anita Nicole Brown. Meg Green. Hi, my name is Asata Caldwell. Hi, everybody, I'm Brooke Francie. Hi, I'm Bryn Bird. Hi, I'm Casey Dunn. Hi, it's Cassandra Kavinsky. Hi, I'm Christina Frieza. I'm Cindy Hogan. I'm Courtney Sinella. Hi, I'm Daisy. My name is Deborah Jane East. Hi, my name is Danielle Marcia. Hi, everyone, I'm Victoria London. Hi, I'm Heather Crona. Hi, I'm Heather Callahan Stevens. Hi, I'm Jay Nicole Ralph. My name is Jamie Patrell. My name is Turi. My name is Julia Brankovich. Kathleen Wills. Kimberly Amano. Hi, my name is Laura Putton. Hi, I'm Laura Chapanis. Hi, everyone. I'm Melissa Damas. This is Michelle Mupo, a.k.a. Fuchsia. I'm Rachel Rivera. Hi, my name is Sarah Joy Mount. Hi, I'm Susan Blender. Hi, everyone. This is Venus Leone. Hi, I'm Showtana.
Hi, I'm Stephanie Herrera, and I was just on the Keith Andrew Network. It was tons of fun. We used up all our time and then some. I really recommend this show, and try to be a guest on Keith's show. It was super fun.
And welcome back to the Keith Andrew Network. I'm here with Kelsa Kinsly, and now wrapping up our show. The last subject I do want to ask you is social media. Can social media make you or break you? And with that being said, I'm passing the show over to you.
It can do either. Before I go into that, though, I do want to tell you, earlier you had said that people gave you a hard time because you didn't have an education. I want to tell you, I have a grade 7 education. So do not let that, again, uniqueness. It's unique. People are like, what? How did you only have a grade 7 education? They want to know, So it's interesting. So just embrace anything that's different. Embrace it. That you can't change it anyway. So social media, okay, it's interesting because I recently got too busy and stopped. I didn't do it on purpose. I just didn't have time. Some things I couldn't do. Like my car was such a disgusting, oh my God, I spilled stuff in there. I just got too busy. And I couldn't clean my car. I didn't do laundry for like 2 months, and I'm not even kidding you. I ended up buying like new workout clothes and everything because I just couldn't get to laundry. And social media, unfortunately, at that stage, ended up I just didn't even think about it. So I really noticed a difference. Like I really noticed now that I haven't been. I mean, I still jump in every so often, but I really, I was on all of them every day for a long time. And I haven't been on Facebook probably now in 4 months. So I'm talking like quite a while. I just got back onto Twitter a couple of days ago, and I don't even like Twitter. I don't like Twitter, but I do like Instagram. I do like Facebook. Your question was, can it make or break you? It can do both. I mean, obviously, if you're good at networking, and you have to like everybody's stuff so they like your stuff back. And I mentioned earlier that that pisses me off when I like somebody and they never like my stuff back. It's like I want to unfriend you. And I hated that I was like this child, and my friends laughed at me because I think a lot of people feel that way, but I've never, for the record, I have never unfriended anybody. I have stopped liking their stuff, I will admit, but I have never unfriended anybody because they weren't liking mine. Okay, I just want to get that clear. So, it just puts you out there in front of people more, and it makes you connect. Look, how did we connect? LinkedIn. So, it can absolutely be beneficial, but you got to be careful too, because if you start putting stupid stuff up there that pisses people off, all Trump now, there's so much Trump stuff, and for the record, I can't stand him. But I had to be careful because I was posting a lot of anti-Trump stuff, and I can get pretty negative about him. And so, that's also going to piss his little base off. So, hopefully, I've worked for a couple of people lately who like him, and my uncle likes him. Like, what is wrong with you? He voted for him, and he's drinking the Fox News Kool-Aid, Fox Opinion Kool-Aid, and I think you just have to be careful. Like, for me, I looked at like all of my stuff mostly on Facebook, and I'm also a big animal person, so I started to see there were 2 things on my entire Facebook page. I never do selfies either, by the way. I just think they're stupid. I don't know. I can't understand why anybody would care that I'm standing on a street or whatever. Right? Exactly. It looks so stupid to me. Oh my God. I was at the gym on spin class, and there was this girl, and she was sort of, like, she wasn't like stunning, but she was, she had it going on, I guess. And she's on this spin class, or on the spin bike, and she's trying to like get this video of her on the spin class. And she's sticking out her boobs and putting out her butt. I'm like, how can you even do that on a spin bike? So and she's doing it. And I'm like, what? I must be uncoordinated. So I had my phone. I'm like, I'm gonna do this too, and I'm gonna send it to my friends and watch how impressed they are. So I'm on the spin class, and I got my phone and I fell off the damn bike. Okay, I literally could not even do. So I thought, I guess it does take some talent, because I fell off the bike, and I got back up on the bike, and so I tried it again and dropped the phone. Like, I couldn't even figure out how to do that. So I'm not going to say that those type of people have no talent, because obviously that took talent, but I don't know. It just depends what you want, I guess. There's a lot of I have a friend that does promotion, PR for a major hotel in Vegas. And when somebody like a celebrity, whatever they are, whether it's because they're authors or they're social media, whatever, they go on, and because these people will call and they'll want to get free rooms and stuff. First thing they do is look to see all their stuff on social media. First thing, because if they're doing all this, oh, look at me, I'm a sex queen and stuff, they don't care about them. So it can go both ways. I just think you have to know what you want. If you want to be like a sex kitten, then do it. And just do that, because then you're going to be in that category. Now, if you want to be a sex little kitten, but you've got your stuff doing all this business stuff over here, people get confused, and that will also, I think, do some damage. So I think you just have to find your niche, do it, and then stick with it, and be damned to those people who think you shouldn't. Again, I will always say that, and just embrace and go. So that's what I think you should do with social media. In my case, because I'm, a reporter and all of that, I just noticed it was a little negative. All my stuff, because a little anti-Trump, but it was save the animals too. But the Trump stuff, I just kind of had to back off a little bit. Did I answer your question?
Yeah, you don't like the orange Cheeto.
Exactly.
So then the next question, wrapping up our segment, do have a couple questions for you off the air. But wrapping up, when I first approached, well, actually, let me rephrase that. That's my last question. How can people follow you on social media? Are you on Twitter, Instagram, LinkedIn, States 32. How can people befriend you?
I'm actually on everything you just said, and everything is just my name. Kelsa, Kelsa, Kinsly. There's no E in Kinsley. I will repeat, because everybody puts an E in there, and then they can't find me. Kinsly. And everything, Facebook is just Kelsa Kinsly. Twitter is Kelsa Kinsly. Instagram is Kelsa Kinsly, but I have my pets' names above me, but you still find me. And Stage 32, to be honest, I haven't been to Stage 32 in probably 2 or 3 years. But I am on there somewhere, I think.
It's like it's me with my name, Andrew. It's my first and middle name. And everyone keeps putting a damn S on Andrews. It's not Andrews, it's Andrew.
But your first name is Andrew, so why would they put an S there?
Oh, it's my first and middle name. So my first name is Keith, and my middle name is Andrew.
Yes, of course, got you. Yes. Well, because it's a lot. I see. I do understand that. I understand that. But, yeah, it's annoying, right?
It is.
Right?
My other question I was going to ask you, then we can talk off the air, is when I first approached you to be a guest on my talk show, what was your first reaction? And after being a guest, how do you feel now, and would you recommend it for other people?
When you first approached me, I don't think I understood what was going on. And then when I looked you up, I got it. And so that was great. And then now that I spoke with you and I looked you up, I think what you're doing is fantastic. I love it, actually. And I really would encourage you to just keep going and don't listen to anybody who tells you to not do what you know you should do. In fact, use that as fuel.
Absolutely. I do that every day. Now, I do have a couple questions for you off the air. Wrapping up, it was a real honor and privilege having you as a guest, and I'm looking forward to part 2 down the road.
Awesome. The honor was mine.